Hello, everyone. My name is Alexander Ermenkov. Today is 9th of February, 2023, and I'm continuing my series, Daily Reality with Alex. And today I would like to discuss and speak about a very important topic that is really transforming the way I look in reality, and more I'm exploring this subject, more and more I'm coming to the conclusion that reality is large, and this is one of the reasons it's very difficult for us as human beings to comprehend it, because we're afraid from large. We are afraid to go into the perspective and look and to be able to see the large, because we are trained and conditioned for so long to focus on the small, to focus on the details, because only then we are significant. The more and more we are moving upscale, the more and more we are able to focus paradoxically on the large, the more and more we are starting to understand reality. And I would like to give you some examples, and I would like all of us to be able to grasp more of this concept, that when we are moving through our experiences, we are to cherish, we are to hold, and we are to be after the large. Because the beautiful thing about the large is that you cannot hold it. We cannot keep it. The large, we cannot even defend it. We are helpless before the perspective of the large. And when we go into the mindfulness, we are in the realm of small. And reality starts from large towards small, towards effects, towards causes, towards form. So, in a sense, if we are to be opened towards understanding the meaning and purpose of the construct is created on a very, very, very large scale, and everything is dissolving in the large. So when we go into our small thinkings, when we enjoy all our comfortable smallnesses, we are doing it because of our unwillingness to open ourselves towards the large. And when we enter the large, there is no space there, there is no time, because time and space and energy and vibrations are part of the large, of the small. And presence is part of the large. And then when we think about the human labelings, more of the labelings we are using in order to perceive reality are part of the small, and that's why we cannot comprehend and understand the large. And only once we are able to position ourselves from the perspective of the large downwards, only then we are becoming functional beings. And the beautiful thing about us as creation is that inside of us, there is such a large limitlessness, and we are so unwilling to enter and to tap into the large and to have our doingness, our beingness, everything that we are, to come from the position from the arch, towards the arch, through the arch, and then things are becoming different. And when we think about perspective, and this is some type of a grasp, because I'm willing to expand myself as the way I'm thinking, the way I'm doing, the way I'm approaching, the way I'm standing. And it was very difficult in the past to understand why I am to be in a position where I'm defending nothing. And from the perspective of small, you can defend. From the perspective of large, there is nothing to defend. Do I want to prove something? From the perspective of small, I can prove to you different concepts. I can go into duality. I can go into discernment. I can go into differences. I can go into so many things in order to prove. But from the perspective of large, there is nothing to prove. But Alex, aren't we to conquer? From the perspective of small, yes, we can conquer, we can hold to, we can be attached. But from the perspective of large, there is nothing to behold, nothing to be attached to. Since I'm a Christian, I was really reflecting a lot during the 30 plus years. And paradoxically, I enjoyed being a small speck and being something that from the perspective of large looks like nothing, and yet all of us are so important and unique. But from the perspective of large, we are always into the small, because then the mind is big. Ego is able to exist only into the realm of small. Into the realm of large, everything is dissolved. So for me personally, once we elevate our positioning and perception from the perspective of large, everything starts making sense. We are fighting the matrix. We are fighting the construct. We want to rebel. We want to be independent. We want to keep. But this is from the perspective of small. From the perspective of large, the only thing we can do is to trust, to allow, to let go, to surrender. And from the perspective of small, we are talking, we are explaining, we are communicating, we are in motion. From the perspective of large, silence and presence is quite enough. When we are moving through the limitations of reality, where we are perceiving with the five senses, basically the small, we are paradoxically to focus on the large. And it is very interesting because we, the human beings, don't want to accept the existing of the large because we think that by dissolving into the large, we are going to lose. We are losing only, and we are surviving only in the small. In the large, we can only exist. And once we go into this perspective, the only thing we can do with our doingness is to dissolve the small into the large. And then what is happening with our daily reality, where we are chasing goals, we are chasing small manifestations, we are enjoying small things we want to satisfy, we want to be fulfilled. But reality, paradoxically, is created in such a way that a limitless being is satisfied only with large. We can never be satisfied with small, and this is what we constantly do and chasing. Once we opened towards the large, everything doesn't matter, and in the same time, everything matters, every single moment matters, because then we are looking in everything from the perspective of large, and large is so large that it actually is able to accept the small to exist. And more we understand that we are to open ourselves and to focus and to constantly put our minds to the above, and in the above is the large. The more we are becoming functional and interactional, because this is the only way in which reality makes sense. From the large towards the small, because otherwise the shininess of the small is starting to attract us, because in the small is the easy, in the small is the comfortable, in the small are the low-hanging fruits. And small helps us to rise our significance, because we think that when we tap into the large, we are not going to matter. And since we are the building blocks of the large, we don't need to matter, because we already are. So it's a very, very interesting positioning for all of us in order to understand that 95 to 98% of the time we are in the small. And we think that the small is where everything happens. But actually, all is in the large. The large is holding everything, and the small is only giving the richness and the finesse and the texture of the large. So for me personally, if all of us are able to understand and start experiencing life through the perspective of large towards small, we are able then to understand the direction of everything from limitless towards limitation, where small and limited is not anymore able to glue us, to stick us, to be enlarged, because this is constantly what media and all the noise around us is trying to create for us. Things are important. Small is important. Small is the only thing. Small is everything. And we are constantly putting our attention on the small. And only from the perspective of the large, everything makes sense. And I know we like concepts, we like mindset, we like the small. But reality is endorsing and supporting the large that is holding everything that we are defining as small, because small is the surface, small is the after, small is the effect, small is the forms, small is what our five senses are perceiving, large is where our intuition is interacting with. The more we understand the small signals of the large, the more the five data senses that are primarily trying to put our attention on the small are going to stay at their level of positioning in our perception, because I'm not a proponent that the five sense data stream and the physical matter reality is a delusion. It is more of a distraction from the ability of us to be connected and to be bonded with the large, and from this position we can enjoy the small, because small is created There is a necessity in a raw, large reality, from texture, from finesse, from beauty, from elegance, that is in the small and the fine. And reality also enjoy this, and it is able to attract, and it is created to attract us in order for us to worship and to honor and to bow down before the large. And a lot of us think, for example, that relationships are everything, but they are part of the small. Bonding and connectedness is part of the large. For so many years, I was trying to understand how is it possible for a human being to love its enemy. And it's not possible to understand it except from the perspective of the large, where the dissolving processes are working and everything small is just part of the texture. And that's why when we are making our doingness through our daily reality, because primarily I'm a ruling reality coach and I'm endorsing practical daily interaction where the small is maybe 95% of our experience. But when we go from the perspective of the large, all our attitudes are different. We are not more after the laugh. We are after the bonding. And for me, the deepness, the solidity, the richness of life comes from the extract through the intuition, not the intent, into the world of small. And once we understand this relationship between the above and the below, between the large and the small, only then we are going to enjoy and accept everything as perfect as it is. For me, this is a very hard concept, and for a lot of time, I was not able to understand it till I didn't totally surrender that every moment is the perfect moment for the exact time and space, and I'm to accept it as this. It doesn't matter how much I think it's not, because from the perspective of large, everything is already done, everything is already perfect, and from the perspective of the large, there is even no movement, no vibration, no energies. It's only the probability and ability for everything to behold and to exist. In our experience of small, we are chasing high vibrations, we are chasing alternate consciousness states, we are chasing things. We want to be enlightened, we want to be more etheric, we want to be more spiritual. but this is part of the small. From the perspective of large, presence and existence is enough. And everything else that is happening in reality, doesn't matter if it's high vibrational, low vibrational, good, bad, whatever we want to label the experiences that are appearing before us. I know a lot of the human beings are not enjoying and are resisting and don't understand and want to escape the suffering processes. And a lot of our actions, a lot of our reactions, a lot of our endeavors, a lot of our desires are conditioned to work from the perspective of the small, but from the perspective of the large. The only thing that matters is the connection. The only thing that matters is the bonding. The only thing that matters is that we are part of the building block of everything. The only thing that matters is the relationship of me, the small, and the large, and beyond the large, the creator. And don't think that I don't have a lot of problems to solve. Don't think that I don't have a lot of goals and desires, and I'm surrounded with so many small things around me, but I'm not chasing after them. I'm not solving them. When I'm positioning myself from the perspective of the large, the only thing that is enough is for me to be there in my presence and be present in any second and minute, and everything is just happening and supporting the dissolving of the small into the large. And that's why I am a big proponent, but not of chasing after the small, because small is never going to give us a fulfillment, but I'm a big proponent. And in the past, I think that to focus and to have laser focus on the small is very important. And to an extent, it is important in order to visualize it, to see the point. And after this, you let go and surrender and trust that the large is doing the thing for us. So thank you for watching today. Enjoy your large reality. And you can always DM me, you can always check me, you can always challenge me, you can always talk with me. I enjoy small. And of course, much more, I enjoy working with small from the perspective of the large. Bye-bye.